Yeah, welcome back. As we are discussing the cybersecurity cube, we have discussed the first dimension of cybersecurity cube, that is CIA triad, and second dimension of cybersecurity cube, that is information states, and third dimension of cybersecurity cube is countermeasures. So we also said, trying to explore the security management framework in this session. So, in this security management framework, if you see, security professionals need to secure information from end to end within the organization. So, this is a monumental task, and it is unreasonable to expect one individual to have all of the request knowledge. So the International Organization for Standardization (ISO) or International Electrotechnical Commission, that IEC, developed a comprehensive framework to guide the information security management. So the ISO or IEC cybersecurity model is to cybersecurity professionals what the OSI networking model is to network engineers. So both provide a framework for understanding and approaching complex tasks. So we'll see that this International Organization for Standardization and International Electro Technical Commission, which developed for the comprehensive framework to guide the information security management, as said. So we'll see this in this model. Uh, Let me just quickly get back to it. So in this model, you'll just see this the ISO or IEC 2700 uh, is an information security standard published in 2005 and revised in 2013. This ISO publishes the ISO 27000 standard. So even though the standards are not mandatory, most countries use them as a de facto framework for implementing information security. So this ISO 2700 standards describes the implementation of comprehensive information security management system, and the comprehensive information security management system consists of all of the administrative, technical, and operational controls to keep information safe within an organization. uh, so 12 independent domains represent the component of ISO 27000 standard. So these 12 domains, these 12 domains serve to organize at a high level the vast areas of information under the umbrella of your information security. So the structure of ISO cybersecurity model is different from the OSI model in that it uses the domains rather than layers to describe the categories for security. The reason for this is that the ISO cybersecurity model is not a hierarchical relationship. It is a peer model in which each domain has a direct relationship with the other domains. So the ISO 27000 cybersecurity model is very similar to the OSI model in that it is vital for cybersecurity specialists to understand both of these models to be successful. So let us see these the 12 independent domains. What they say. The first one is your the risk assessment. So in this risk assessment, uh, So this is the first step in the risk management process. So it determines the quantitative and qualitative value of risk related to a specific situation or recognized threat. This is the first independent component. And second one is security policy. This security policy is a document that addresses the constraints and behavior of members of an organization and often specifies how data can be accessed and what data is accessible by whom. So another domain of cybersecurity is the organization of information security. So this is the governance model set out by an organization for information security. And next domain of cybersecurity is, the domain of cybersecurity is asset management. So this is an inventory of and classification scheme for information assets. And next domain is human resource security. This addresses security procedures relating to employees joining, moving within, and leaving an organization. And next domain is physical and environmental security. This describes the protection of the computer facilities within an organization. And the next domain is the communications and operations management domain. This describes the management of technical security controls in systems and networks, which leads to the next domain, that information systems acquisition and development and maintenance domain. So this describes the integration of security into applications. The next domain is access control. This is most important domain. So this describes the restriction of access rights to networks, systems, applications, functions, and data. The next domain is information security incident management, which describes how to anticipate and respond to information security breaches. The next domain of cybersecurity is business continuity management. This describes the protection, maintenance, and the recovery of business critical process and systems. And next domain is business. The compliance. So this compliance domain describes the process of ensuring conformance with the information security policies, standards, and regulations. So these the structure of these 12 domains serve as a common basis for development organizational security standards and effective security management practice. They also help to facilitate communication between organizations. So there are some control objectives are there under this cybersecurity model, ISO cybersecurity model. So those control objectives are the 12 domains consist of these control objectives defined in 27001 part of the standard. So the control objectives define the high level requirements to implement a comprehensive ISM, the information security management system. So an organization's management team uses this ISO 27001 control objectives to define and publish the organization security policies. So control objectives provide a checklist to use during security management audit. So many organizations needs to pass an ISMS, the IS Oh, it's not working properly. Okay. The ISMS audit in order to earn a designation of ISO 27001 compliant. So certification and compliance provide confidence for two organizations that need to trust each other's confidential data and operations. So these controls, they are based on the control objectives to control access to networks by using the appropriate authentication mechanism for users and equipment. The control would be used strong passwords. So the cybersecurity professionals recognize, some of the things that controls are not mandatory, but they are widely acceptable and adapted. And controls must maintain vendor neutrality to avoid the appearance of endorsing a specific product or company. And controls are like guidelines. This means that there can be more than one way to comply with the objectives one. So in this ISO cybersecurity model, the CIA triad is so in this ISO 2700 model is a universal framework for every type of organizations. So in order to use the framework effectively, an organization must narrow down which domains, control objectives, and control apply to its environment and operations. So this ISO 27001 control objectives serve as a checklist. So in that checklist, you can check as in this ISO IEC 2702 section. So different groups within an organization may be responsible for data in each of the various states. For example, the network security group is, if you have the network security group, is responsible for data during transmission. Programmers and data entry people are responsible for data during processing. The hardware and server support specialists are responsible for stored data. So the ISO control specifically address security objectives for data in each of the three states. So in this example, you can see the representative from each of three groups help to identify the control that are applicable and priority of each control in their area. So these are section groups that defines the what kind of the controls are given. So the representative from the network security group identifies the controls ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of all transmitted data. All transmitted data. So here you can see that the ISO 27001 control objective relate directly to the organization cybersecurity policies, procedures, and guidelines which upper management determines. So this ISO 27002 control provides the technical direction. For example, the upper management establishes a policy specifying the protection of all data coming into or out of the organization. So, implementing the technology to meet the policy objectives would not involve upper management, but it is the responsibility of IT professionals to properly implement and configure the equipment used to fulfill the policy objectives set by upper management. So that is the control. In this diagram, you can see the control which is analyzed to determine type of safeguards to be implemented. So in the fifth one, it is saying that in the fifth one, the fifth section describes that security policies, and 5.1 defines the information security policy, where 5.11, that is information security policy document, that must be confidentiality should be there, the primary objective, integrity should be there, and availability should be there. If you take the sixth section of 27002, that is the organization of information security. In that, the 6.1 describe the internal organization. So in that internal organization, it must follow the primary objectives of your confidentiality and I mean integrity and the availability one, right? So these are the security management frameworks. So with this, we are going to wind up the, these are the different groups within the organization may respond for different data in each of the various states as we just described. Okay, so the hardware and server support specialists are responsible for stored data as explained. So ISO control specifies specifically address the security objectives for data in each of the three states, maybe in rest state or transit state or in the process state, right? So these are different standards or the sections of your ISO 20 ISO 270002, ISO 2700 2 pulses, right? Yeah, so in summary, this we have discussed the three dimensions of cybersecurity cube, then the state of your data, then cybersecurity countermeasures, and the framework for the security management frameworks which we have discussed. So with this, we would like to conclude the cybersecurity cube chapter. So thank you.